Now, Donald Trump knows a perp walk, or he thinks that perp walk will be good for TV. Now, of course, Trump is stoked about his perp walk, but he knows that maggots love his villainy. Now, while the world waits with bated breath for Donald Trump's indictment, reporters in the Mar-a-Lago palace intrigue beat say that no one claims more anticipation than Trump himself. Now, the former squatter told his fake friends and associates that he welcomes the idea of being paraded by the authorities before a throng of reporters and news cameras. New York Times reporter Maggie Haberman and Michael Bender had written. He has even mused openly about whether he should smile for the assembled media, and that he has pondered how the public would react, and is said to have described the potential spectacle as a fun experience. Now, at one level, this is definitely what the internet slangsters call cope, or cable news pundits dismiss as bravado. Now, this is i.e. also known as delusional nonsense people spew in order to avoid dealing with troubling realities. Now, certainly, the self-soothing fairy tales are rife in the maggot world these days, as Trump and his fans try to tell themselves that a man most Americans hate will get more popular if he's put on trial for various crimes. No, he won't. Now, still, Trump's impulse here makes a certain amount of sense. I don't see how it makes sense at all. Now, for one thing, one of Trump's few talents is knowing what makes for good TV. His perp walk would absolutely qualify. Now, for a terminal narcissist, being at the center of one of the biggest TV events of the year is intoxicating, even if it's going to be his own arraignment. But this impulse of Trump's also fits every indicator that his campaign strategy for 2024, however ill-advised, is to focus on pleasing his maggot base, even at the expense of winning over any other voters. Trump's not wrong to think that getting arrested will make maggots love him even more. He gets what still too many pundits fail to understand. The maggot movement wants its leaders to be villains. Getting arrested in as showy a way as possible will only cement his brand as the top dog in the increasingly robust field of maggot scoundrels, which each are vying to win over the GOP base by showing that they are the biggest, baddest of them all. Now, let's get one thing fucking clear, however. Popular with the maggot base is not the same thing as being popular overall, because Trump's neither one. Now, Trump and his supporters try mightily to confuse people at this point, often to great effect. Now, both Democrats on social media and cable news pundits have fallen into the habit of worrying that indictment might help Trump. I fear that Trump has gone out of his way to amplify. Now, there was, for an instance, a great deal of consternation this week over new polling showing that Trump is pulling ahead of his biggest primary rival, which happens to be Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. Now, no doubt being a flamboyantly evil person is how to become a star with the GOP base these days. Like Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia has turned herself into one of their biggest celebrities by being the biggest villain. Now, DeSantis understands this, which is why he's making a name for himself by banning books and shipping migrants around their cargo. It's why Representative James Comer of Kentucky gloats about his dishonesty to New York Times reporters. Republicans are even starting to dress the part now, styling themselves more like Batman villains than the staid politicians of old. Now, while the maggot voters love a mustache twirling villain, the majority of people do not. It's why Republicans have been underperforming in the polls since Trump stepped on the scene and convinced the rest of the party that a proud heel turn is good politics, which it's not. As Alexander Burns of Politico gently reminded the overthinkers of this week, Trump needs to grow his support, not merely rev up people who already care deeply about his very utterance and obsession. Most people find it off-putting when Trump whines because he wants to write illegal hush money checks to porn stars without consequences. Even his own sycophants are having trouble getting motivated to defend Trump for his petty bullshit. And this isn't the campaign slam dunk Trump is pretending it is. But I'm sure that turning his own arraignment into a reality TV spectacle would likely help Trump bolster his brand with the maggot community, which has thoroughly embraced an antisocial ideology and aesthetic. We're talking about people whose main political impulse is owning the Democrats, and there are people who use woke as an insult even though it means believing in social justice. They're still throwing fits because of now past mandatory mask policies, solely because participating in an effort to slow down a pandemic offended them to their core. They treat imbecile jerks like Elon Musk like heroes. As political movement, maggots are really maggots really are nothing more than a bunch of whiny little bitches who just long to shove someone's head in the toilet. Now, what's funny is that the Satanist himself seems to be losing his grip on their basic understanding. He used to understand implicitly that the maggots are attracted to the biggest asshole, which is why they follow Trump, which is why he always tries to be seen abusing the most vulnerable people he can find, from gay kids trying to survive school to refugees shivering in the cold. Now, punching down is Maggot's turn on, but now he's going on Piers Morgan's show and taking pot shots about Trump's lacking character. Now, look, Ron, Trump voters know people that vote Trump know that he lacks character. That's why the maggot base loves him, and it's what they loved about him. But turning yourself into one of those Mike Pence types who tries to put some moral gloss over what is actually a very dark soul is how to lose them. They want people who are proud of being fucking evil. And no doubt most maggot types will deny, if confronted, that they will love evil for its own sake, like a good number of Batman villains. They instead frame their quest as one of the vengeance for perceived wrongs against them. Now, Trump himself has been ranting about how he is their retribution, which he's not. Now, in Stephen Miller Pence speeches that are indistinguishable from the manifestos of mass shooters, of course, like the complaints of mass shooters, the injustices that maggot decries are utterly baseless, and mostly they're just mad that it's easier than it is to be questioned the unearned privileges of white men. Now, however, or whatever the fucking excuse will be, however, the situation as it stands is this: within the ranks of GOP voters, being a bad guy to them is a plus, even though it's a negative. Now, Trump absolutely could accept them more by leaning into his criminal identity. But if any prosecutor could actually stop being a chicken and indict the guy already, that is, if we ever see it happen. Outside of that shrinking maggot demographic, however, electing a man who thinks he's the Joker but is actually just bad at sex agent grifter is less appealing. Not that anyone should be complacent about the 2024 election, as complacency is what caused Democrats the White House in 2016. Now, it's okay to enjoy Trump's indictment if it ever comes, but if anyone ever has the guts to make it happen, he may be smiling through it, but exciting a bunch of jerks who already like you is not the victory Trump pretends it is. Now, Trump knows a good part of God that is one ugly fat fuck. But of course he was claiming he was going to be arrested on Tuesday, last week, but that never happened. But yeah, he's one ugly fucking piece of shit. But yeah, if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. You can go ahead and leave a comment, let me know what you think. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of YouTube. And for just a little as a few bucks a video or month, your donation can help go a long way, and thanks for listening.